What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another interview edition here at Learn Crypto. My name is Nick Hellman, and we have with us Laura Taylor from the DigiByte Awareness Team and Jason Berlin, the founder of Tour to Crypto. Now, you guys might be wondering why we have both of them here today. That is because DigiByte has actually decided to become a community sponsor of this charitable event. And we're going to talk a little bit about what Tour to Crypto is and why DigiByte decided to join in. So I guess, Jason, to start, if you just want to do a quick background on what you think Tour to Crypto is, what it means, and why you decided to do it. And then we'll toss it over to Laura and see why they jumped on board.
Sure. So our slogan is cryptocurrency awareness for charities. So I personally, there's so many different meanings behind it just because, again, we started this. But the big takeaway from this is getting crypto communities involved to show the charitable efforts of cryptocurrencies. Again, over the past few months or even years, cryptocurrencies have always been looked at as a form of an investment. You know, whenever we talk about cryptos, we're like, how's the market, what's going on, what's happening with regulations and all that. So I kind of wanted to have everybody take a step back, and instead of talking about finances, let's start talking about charitable efforts. And that's when this kind of like came about.
So Laura, you know, DigiByte decided to come on as a community sponsor. I kind of want to know why you guys thought as a community that this would be good, not only for DigiByte as a project, but really for the entire cryptocurrency ecosystem.
Oh yeah. I just want to explain a little bit like how the awareness team works. A lot of times people will think like we're the like whole entire community, but we're really like just a sub part of the community. But we're really tenacious when we get excited about something and want to work on a project. So anyway, they approached us, and there was a couple of things that it kind of reminds me of when I first saw DigiByte. You know, like you had this like aha moment, and you're like, wait a second, that's different. You know, and so I would say when they approached us, it took me a minute. You know, because nothing like this has ever been done. And poor Jason and Blake, geez Louise. I mean, how many? I don't even know, like, how many hours they answered questions. It took me 2 full days to feel like solid, I would say, because they really they weren't as far as they are now. You know, they just were getting so many roadblocks. So they hadn't had the $100,000, and, you know, they hadn't had, you know, certain certain validations that they have now, right? The website wasn't quite finished. And thank you, Jason, for doing that website. I'm so sorry I was so pushy, because they came to us and the website wasn't done. And not because of being lax, but it was just, you know, something that was gonna be done by somebody else, and then it didn't happen. And so Jason had to pick it up, you know, while he was training for traveling across the country on a bike. So it took them, you know, a couple of days, and it looks stunning. It looks a lot better than it did when we first saw it. So when I first
PDF document.
When I first opened the first website, it was like the worst picture ever, and I was like, no. And so it took him a while to sell me, because I'm pretty suspicious, because I've been in this space for, you know, year and a half, 2 years, maybe 2 years. So I've been, you know, anybody in this space has seen a lot of scammy things. So we're all kind of, you know, we have this heightened like caution. And so, yeah, it took him a while. It wasn't like he came to us and we were like, yeah, we'll do it. I mean, it took them a little convincing. And then also, even after we, you know, figured out this was real and legit, and he wasn't like a scam artist, which I will just say, the boy is not a scam artist, okay? Like, I have been working with him for 2 weeks, and I have never seen anybody work as hard as he has been working, and not for himself. That's the thing. That was the thing that really, when I was like, well, what are you going to get out of it? And he was like, nothing. I mean, literally nothing. 100% of it goes to Hawk. And I was like, whoa. And you're going to do what for nothing? He just wanted to make the space better. He wanted to help Hawk. He wanted to show how cryptos could be good. And we are really in a desperate need for this. You know, And at the awareness team, we saw that need. We saw, we see it every day. That's what we work on. It's awareness, and it's in our name. And so to me, I thought, wow, that's a pretty big risk that you're taking for all of us, not just us in crypto land, for all of the people outside of crypto land. That's the whole point. He's trying to bring them in, and he's trying to bring them in a fun way that can educate them, not just bring them in to say, hey, buy this coin because you'll get 200% back in 3 days. That's not what he's doing. And even though these coins are on his sponsorship, DigiByte's on the sponsorship, we're providing him material to share with people, to educate them on DigiByte along the way. But no, I think you're more like Johnny Crypto Seed, because your whole thing is you're just gonna be sprinkling knowledge along the way and trying to bring people in, and there's gonna be growth along your path. Along your path, those people are going to be smarter about this. And we need people to get smart about this, because it's happening right now. Mass adoption's on its way, whether people like it or not. And it's hard to understand. And I think the more we can bring physical communities together, the more we can reduce the learning curve. And it's a very important goal to have. I mean, besides Hawk, which is an incredible charity, if you can't get behind a Hawk charity, I just don't even know. It's the most non-political, just universally, I think everybody can say sexual violence is a bad thing. Done. We're all together there. So I think it was a visionary thing that he's doing. And so we saw it and we got excited, and we didn't start pushing it right away though. I mean, I said to him, I said, your website can't be half done. And we're not going to send people, we're not going to say, hey, look what the DigiByte awareness wants to support. And we would like the community to get behind us on that support. And I do want to say to the community, there's 14 people on our team, 15 people on our team, and we all come from different backgrounds. We're all real critical thinkers. And when something like this crosses our path, we question everything. We're very diligent, I would say, because it might slip past me because my heart chakra is wide open, but it won't slip past Rudy and Dean and Jen, and there's a whole bunch of people they got to get through. So we're very careful about what we say. We're very careful about what we promote, because we don't want to send people to a scam. We have a lot of responsibility. We feel that responsibility in the space. So we waited. We had told him, and it had to come to a vote. We are a decentralized group. The DigiByte awareness team, it's the epitome of decentralization. And I told Jason, I said, we have people who work, and poor guys. I mean, it took you guys 3 full days. I mean, they were so patient. I kept just saying, thanks for your patience. I believe in you. Thanks for your patience. So after we said, yes, we'll do this, then the website wasn't ready. And I said, yeah, well, you've got our commitment to do this, but I'm not going to send out a tweet until that website's done. And poor guy, he was like,
yeah, I get updates from Blake. Blake contacts me daily. He's like, you got to fix this. You got to do this. You got to do that. And I'm like, Blake, I just rode for 40 miles. Give me some time to relax. So then I'll eat, I'll lie down, and then all of a sudden I get a text message from Blake, fix the website. I'm doing the best that I can.
I know.
Relax. That's it.
I was too. It wasn't just Blake. I was too. I mean, I was like, I was trying to be nice about it. I'm like, what's your ETA? Yeah. And I would do that maybe 3 times a day. And my team knows I can be pushy, but I was excited, and I also knew time was of the essence. And I just want to say this story. This guy has had more roadblocks than anything I've ever seen. When he tried to message me, someone had reported him as spam.
Telegram. Yeah.
Telegram. He was blacklisted.
I couldn't even message people after that.
So here he is contacting us to do this, and we're like, well, why can't you contact her directly? Well, because I've been reported as spam. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, good Lord. I mean, you really had an uphill climb.
Yeah, I mean, that goes back to, again, I mean, whenever we talk to a community, whenever we try to reach out to them, we're not always necessarily reaching a core team member. You know, we're contacting an admin in a Telegram group, or we're contacting a volunteer in like a Discord group. So for us, we're constantly getting like interviewed. There's always like a barrier for us to get to the next person. And thankfully we did with DigiByte. And again, with some of these other communities though, that to us is like the hardest part, because we're dealing with multiple people, personalities, people that do have like side agendas with this whole stuff. So yeah, I mean, that to us is still is like the hardest part to reach the core members.
I think you're making a good point. I think that's the hard part about decentralization, you know, and that's one thing I like about being on the awareness team, and I like about working with DigiByte is, you know, again, we're just a sub population in the larger population, but over, you know, since May, we just started in May, we've shown ourselves to, you know, our code is, you know, do no harm to DigiByte. And so I think we've proven ourselves to be trustworthy, and we've proven ourselves to want the best for the whole community. And so and that's different from a lot of blockchains. We have this little special group that that people like Jason could come to. And I'm not inviting everybody to come flying our way either. So, you know, my team's going to kill me for even saying that. But I'm just saying that it is hard to get into some sort of core organized group that can really help you. And that's what's so powerful about the awareness team is it's a core organized group within the community that has a lot of different arms. And my arm that I deal with is outreach and education and, you know, like kind of a general awareness and just a cheerleader. Everybody see me on Telegram. I'm super inspirational, whatever. So that's my job, you know. I'm like that passionate one, and Rudy is kind of like our, you know, he's our businessman. He's the man that goes to corporations and exchanges, and we have several men on the group that do that, and we have a woman on the group that deals with international. Well, we're all international, but she deals with other, you know, communities coming up. Like she's working with Africa right now and something. So it's like we have these different arms that do things. We have tech guys. I'm the social person. And so he was lucky to get connected to me because nobody else has time to do this kind of work that I'm doing with him. So I think that's the hard part with decentralization. A lot of times it is disorganized. And we also like to say that decentralization doesn't need to be disorganization. Yeah. In fact, it needs to be the opposite. We need to get organized. Yeah. So this is a good model for that too. Like, why do we need to get organized? So we can support people that are real, that need help, and they need to know where to go to get that help.
Yeah, when Jason first approached me pertaining to the Twitter crypto, I've known him in the past with some of his community work that he did with Electrocoin and ECA, which is actually one of the main sponsors as well. And really, I jumped on board to start helping him and volunteering time and reaching out to projects because I saw it for a multitude of reasons. Number one, it helps mass adoption, and in this current market sentiment, everybody's down, everybody's losing money because everybody's worrying about price. You really can get back to the roots of what cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology is meant for. And that's to be used and to help people around the world and help everybody in their everyday lives. And on top of that, I just think that this tour to crypto is a great way to start spreading awareness, like you said, along the route at every single stop. Sponsors, like you said, DigiByte's going to be having a handout. It allows normal everyday people to get some exposure to cryptocurrencies, see what they're actually all about, learn how to use them, learn their purposes. And then on top of that, bringing in a non-for-profit really is a finite problem in charities right now that blockchain can solve. And that is having 100% immutability and transparency of that blockchain, where I can see that 100% of my donation is going to a Hawk wallet address. And then beyond that, it can actually track when Hawk is spending it, how they're spending it, where they're spending it, etc. And I think that is a great use case for cryptocurrencies. On top of that, everybody's always saying, oh, we need institutional money, institutional regulation, where a lot of institutional money is part of these non-for-profits or going to charitable causes or donations. So this is a way to show them that, hey, this is a finite use case and a use case that you guys should maybe be utilizing. So even for tax records or records of how many donations they're doing, they have a guaranteed, immutable track record of everything they've donated and who they've donated it to. So I think that's another reason why I saw the vision. That's my vision for Tour to Crypto. And, I'll leave it at there. And Jason, if you want to kind of chime in and say when the Tour to Crypto starts, when it ends, and most importantly, where it's ending, because I know that World Crypto Conference has come on board in a large way, and I'd like you to discuss that a little bit.
Yeah, so at this very moment, we only have 7 days left. So we're leaving on September 14th, Friday. And what's really cool, and I kind of want to take a little step back, we're talking about being transparent and open. And I think when we were talking about me getting blocked on Telegram, people are always used to these random messages that keep coming across. So yeah, naturally, when somebody reads a message, they're going to be, this is either too good to be true or something's up with that. So Blake and I, that's why we really start to hit up Instagram and Twitter by showing videos of ourselves. So then when I started contacting people, we weren't just sending text, we were sending photos, we were sending videos. This is who we are. This is what we're trying to accomplish. And one thing that I really want to emphasize is on the community aspect. With Blake, for example, I've never met Blake before. Nick, I never met you before. And Laura, I never met you. And now here we are, we're doing these huge projects where if it wasn't because of the crypto communities, we wouldn't have even met each other. So last night, I went to a Bitcoin small meetup in the city, in New York City. And I had 3 or 4 people that came up to me. They're like, you're the Tour to Crypto guy. I'm like, yeah. And they're like, yeah, we see your tweets. We saw what you're doing. It's an amazing thing that you're doing for the crypto space. And they're like, we want to put a face to the name. I was like, wow, I really appreciate that. And I started, I took a step back, and that's when I started to realize that this is now starting to gain momentum. It's starting to grow. People that I haven't even spoken to are now finding out about it and then coming to me to get more information. And to me, that in itself is amazing. This is what this new friend of mine, Mike Rogers, he basically coined it as Web 3.0. So we have Web 2.0, which is all the social media that came out. But the 3.0 is now getting the communities connected through social media and now building something, now actually coming together and doing stuff. So that to me is invaluable. I've never personally seen something like this grow based on community efforts. And this is, again, what I want to prove. I want to show the world that we have thousands of these cryptocurrencies out there. Let's see if we can actually get them together, not just to be talking about, here's my price, here's your price, you're flooding, you're FOMOing and all this. It's here we have a charitable effort. Let's team up and let's actually do this. Let's take some action, not just talk about the same stuff back and forth or to argue.
Well, can I jump in for just a second? Because, one of the things was there was $1,000 commitment to Hawk, not to Jason, but to Hawk, in order to open up your community's wallet. And I think that that's really brilliant. There needs to be a barrier, or there are thousands out there, and it's only the communities that are really passionate, only the communities that are really strong, and they're only really strong if they have a project they believe in. So I think it's brilliant, because he wasn't like, hey, yeah, everybody come on. He was like, you gotta put up or shut up, and I think that that's important too. And again, I think Jason has a history with Electra. So at first when they came to us, they're like, is this going to just be an Electra tour? And it's not about one specific coin. If you want it to be about a coin, if you want it to be about a project, then the community, not Jason, the community has to participate. They have to, advertise this. They have to, we're making a pamphlet about DigiByte. So, and we're sending it to Jason. It's DigiByte and blockchain and general awareness with, resources people can go to. So he has something that he can hand out that has DigiByte on it. That's a community responsibility, not Jason's. So being a community contributor, it's our responsibility to help him get the word out. I mean, at DigiByte, we're about education, we're about mass adoption, and we're serious, and we're goofy. I mean, we're silly, but we're also we're serious about the tech, because we're serious about the security that it can bring, and we want to educate people, and that's why we wanted to work with Jason. I mean, I just think that this is a perfect opportunity for our community to really show people. And let's not mention the fact that we get to show people with our crypto. I mean, there's going to be a leaderboard. You know, this is going to turn into a crypto pissing contest. I hope these guys end up being the richest nonprofit in the world, because that's what we need to show people. Like, we are not a bunch of drug dealers and hookers. We are generous, smart people that want to do good. And mass adoption through good intention is probably the smartest thing I've ever heard in my life. And I'm just really grateful. And I do want to say, I know there's things that Jason still needs. He doesn't have his full sponsorship. He's doing this without full sponsorship. That means that he's taking on the costs that he thought that would be covered, because we are in a very wealthy community. You know, some of us are not wealthy, but even with this market down, I know there's people sitting on a lot of crypto, and he's not doing this for himself. He's doing it for all of us. And so I just think it's crazy that he hasn't reached his sponsorship goals, and he's 7 days out, and that he's going to ride in a RV that's made for 2 people with 4 people, while he's riding a bike 100 miles a day and trying to educate people about cryptocurrencies. Like, are we really, as a community, we're really going to make him carry all of it? Or are we going to step up and we'll show the world that we're better than that? And he's giving us a gift. He's giving us an opportunity to show people how great we can be. And I'm telling you, the DigiByte community, they're pretty great, and they're pretty generous. And I can't wait to see what they do. I mean, we're crazy. You have no idea. We're nuts. So I'm excited. I hope we win. Yeah. I hope we give the most.
So I'll take a quick second to show the Tour to Crypto website here, and just show who's involved as of now. If you go up here to sponsors and the 2018 sponsors, we can see that Electra is here, Aircoins, Unifox. But if you come down here, we do have the community sponsors, and this is DigiByte right here. Redcoin is on board, and 4, which is a decentralized marketplace, as well as Hodl Fuel. On all these icons, if you guys want to learn more about the individual projects and how they're supporting Tour to Crypto, you can click on them to get to their website. I think you guys, you know, like you were saying, there's tons of communities out there, and the biggest barrier that me and Jason have run into is trying to show the vision, make them believe that we're real and not just a random scam, and then coming up with the funds. Not everyone out here is an ICO or raised a bunch of money. You know, a lot are like DigiByte or Vertcoin or some of these that had no pre-mine, no ICO. They're just a community project full of volunteers. And although you guys may not have the funds as a project, you can always create maybe a donation wallet address and let your community decide. Say, here's the proposal, guys. We're trying to join Tour to Crypto. This is the exposure that we will get from it. This is the benefits for the entire crypto ecosystem, and this is the charitable event. If we are able to raise $1,000 worth of Nick coins or whatever the coin is, we are now a community sponsor.
That's pretty narcissistic, Nick.
Yeah. We are now a community sponsor, and we are part of this journey and can do our part to spread the word of cryptocurrencies. And if you guys can raise more than 1,000, there is more information on the website about sponsorship tiers. You can get on the RV with your logo. You can do pamphlets like DigiByte has. You can actually get logos on the actual riders' jerseys and bikes. Again, this is going to be a documented journey. We plan on releasing a documentary of this journey in the first quarter of 2019, I believe, and I'm excited to see that. So all the communities that get involved are going to be a part of this journey as well, and it's all going to be documented. There's going to be videographers, etc., and that's what I'm excited for. So what I would say is, even if you're not a founder, if you're just a community member or there's a project you really like, I would say get in the Discord, try to set up a donation wallet address, and see if you guys in that community can raise the $1,000 or maybe even more to become a sponsor of this event.
And I speaking of wallet addresses, I do want to say this. This is one other thing that really sold me on what they're doing is we've seen it's not, well, I don't know how common it is, but we've seen people tweet wallet addresses for charities, and they can be lifted and corrupted, or, you know, there's fake Medium articles that are written and they put in a wallet address and say, you know, give to here. And I think the thing that that Jason did that was so smart was he said, the only place you can give is on the websites. So if you see somebody on Twitter, or you see a Medium article that says donate to here, they're a scam. I mean, he took that worry away, you know, because the only place you can do it is on Toward Crypto or Hawk. And that's another thing. Like, I think you're right. I think we, you know, we had a single member do our donation, so we didn't have to raise the funds, and we didn't have to take them from anything from the DigiByte awareness team. But we were lucky to have a single, you know, one single member to open the wallet. And I think the same thing happened for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. And so, you know, it depends how you want to do that funds. But you know what? It's only $1,000. I mean, seriously, I think you know, if you have a strong community, I don't think that's too much to ask to have the opportunity to participate in something that I think will be historic. I don't think it will be perfect because it's the first time. He's underfunded. He's stressed to the max. I mean, he's got a great attitude, but good God. I mean, I would be drunk right now if I were you, Jason. Hats off. Because you guys don't know, like he's working 20 hours a day.
Go ahead, Jason.
So one thing is, if Nick, if you could go to the Toward Crypto website and click the donate tab. We were talking before, again, we really made it set so that you as a community, you have to put in $1,000 minimum. And the main reason why we did that is because we did start getting contacted by communities and coins that haven't really established like a reputation yet. So one thing that we have to really keep in mind, this is something that I put before us as a tour, is Hawk's reputation. And again, this is a charity that we're representing. Hawk has to go onto your website, download your wallet, and get everything set up. So for us, we are 100% okay with downloading 100 different wallets. Believe me, we would love to do that because, again, that's going to then mean we have 100,000 that's going to be donated to Hawk. But we also can't have wallets that are malicious content just because they don't have the reputation, or they haven't existed for a while, or cryptos that are just like in an ICO type stage, because then at that point there's no real value. We're not here to give you exposure. We're here to prove and to make a case study to show that cryptocurrencies can come together and help out a nonprofit. One thing that I want to show you on these donations page is we just got a new sponsored contributor, which is the PAC community. And what they did is they went to their community and they said, we have to raise $1,000, and they were able to do it. So PAC, they came together and they were able to raise the money. There is currently another one that's called Nullex, N-U-L-L-E-X, and they're already surpassed $500. So they're going to be added to the website very soon once they reach that amount. So everyone is starting, all the different communities are starting to see more join the tour. And the biggest news that we have now, which we kind of talked before, is World CryptoCon. World CryptoCon now just came to us thanks to Ronnie Moaz, and they said that we're going to pledge $100,000 towards the tour. And for us, they ended up giving us a booth at the event, which is awesome because now once we're riding across the U.S., we're going to see Hawk in Houston, Texas. And then after that, we're going through Arizona and then Vegas. We will be seeing some of the crypto communities that literally told us that they don't want to join the tour. And we will have a booth at this event now. So I think that that's going to be an interesting experience. For us as a speaker, we get to talk again about everything. I want to talk about where we are right now. I mean, talking about this, at this very moment, the video we're making, all the way up to when we get to Vegas. I mean, this whole thing is part of the documentary. We're going to be taking parts of this video, putting it in, and we're going to compile everything. So there will be a point when I will show everybody. I'm going to literally pull up the Twitter messages. I'll be blocking out the names. I'll be blurring some stuff. And I want you to see some of these responses that I have received about this. I want you guys to see some of the communities, again, blurred out, we won't mention the names, but some of the responses that they're giving us. Like, this is real, we're doing it. And I mean, you see us right here, like we're doing this.
Now, real quick, we didn't get to it yet, but can you kind of say when your tour to crypto is starting, when it's ending? And, I know there's a roadmap on the website as well, but just so people kind of have a timeline. And also, will we be taking any sponsorships once you start? There's about 5-6 days left for these communities to get on board, but say somebody sees it a little late. Is there a way for them to get integrated as we get going?
Yeah, so we're definitely coming up with different options for sponsorships, like once we're out on the road, which starts on Friday, September 14th, and the whole tour will end around like December 10th. We are actually thinking about extending our trip once we get to Vegas. And the reason why we're thinking about taking another like 2 or 3 days is because we're going to be surrounded by other crypto and blockchain enthusiasts. So for us, it may make sense to, take on an additional 2 days to sit there, network, explain everything that we're doing, everything that we have done, and then again, our future plans for next year. This is something that we've been approached about on doing it throughout South America, specifically through Mexico and El Salvador. We've been contacted by a blockchain company in the Netherlands to go through Europe. And we were even contacted by an exchange. And this is funny, the exchange does not want to sponsor us here, but they want us to go to China and ride our bikes through China. And they're willing to sponsor that. So there's so many different technicalities in these weird mindsets just because we're doing this like in the United States. And this kind of also shows the power of like that we need our communities to come together, and also emphasizes the fact that we still need to be start educating people in the United States about what blockchain technology is, what cryptocurrencies are, and to now shed light on charitable efforts too, which is a very big thing.
That is. Is there really anything else you want to mention here, Laura? Like, I know the DigiByte community embraced this. You guys voted on it, but is there anything else you want to discuss about DigiByte and their cooperation with Tour to Crypto before we wrap this up? Anything we missed?
No, I mean, we basically are going to Jason and say, what do you need? What do you need today? And we try to help him solve it. And I think if you're a community contributor and you're going to get all that exposure, I think everybody should be asking that question. Every community should be asking that question. The Litecoin community should be asking that question. The Bitcoin community should be asking that question. I mean, the DigiByte, we're the chain that cares, but we care, like, we're behind it, and we don't do anything halfway. We're not halfway behind him. We're not kind of behind him. And so I think if he had that kind of support from all the communities, I think it would make his life a lot easier. I think it would make the tour a lot more successful. I mean, he's going to do it, and he's going to be successful, but it's up to us to make it easier or harder for him. And I mean, the DigiByte family wants to make it easier.
Yeah. And all the communities out there, on top of that, is everybody has, you do crypto or you're part of crypto, but a lot of people have traditional jobs and traditional networks and contacts. If you start explaining what's going on here and start integrating traditional finance and traditional work with cryptocurrencies, that's really where mass adoption is going to come in. And then you can start networking where maybe along the tour, they stop at a local news station or radio station, give a little spiel about the sponsors, about the tour to crypto, about what cryptocurrencies mean now and what they could mean in the future. And I think that's really where the awareness comes at, and where everybody who is participating in this can help by networking and using some of their contacts outside of the crypto communities to spread the word about cryptocurrencies. And then in the end, that's really going to invest,
You're just getting them involved.
Exactly. And it's going to benefit all of us in the end.
Everybody an opportunity to get people involved. And I'm like, I mean, this is a beautiful opportunity. And I would hate if we messed it up. I don't think we're gonna. I mean, I think we're gonna do fine. I think once people see him doing it, and doing his Forrest Gump thing, I mean, you're just not going to be able to help it. I mean, his whole story, I mean, about getting out of depression and getting healthy, and then he's like, let me see if I can help anybody. I mean, the whole storyline is just too much. Like, my head almost exploded when I got the whole picture. And I think other people will too. It just might take them a little bit. Because we're weary, we're tired. You've been in the space, we're all exhausted. We're working so much, and then we're not really getting paid. So I get that. A hesitation, but it's a good opportunity. I think it's a good opportunity.
Any real last things from you, Jason?
Yeah. So for me, as we start getting these sponsorships through the different communities, that to me again brings a whole nother back and beyond that, and then I feel like it gets multiplied, and then more people will find out, and then there's a snowball effect. What I am genuinely interested in seeing is the Bitcoin community, because again, everybody keeps saying that Bitcoin is the main image behind these cryptocurrencies, and I want to see what kind of a community comes out representing Bitcoin as a whole. That's really what I want to see. It's easy for me, again, to try and contact smaller cryptos, but I want to see what happens with Bitcoin. Because again, Laura had mentioned on the site, we will start to implement an actual leaderboard. So if DigiByte, they set up the $1,000, and if we don't get any more donations, it stays at $1,000. But if they get 1,001, they move. This, again, I think it's going to be cool from a documentary aspect, if people will be donating in Bitcoin, or are they going to be donating in the distributing sponsors version of currency. And that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting to see big of an effort they're going to come in when it counts. That's it.
That will be really interesting. Well, I guess if nobody has anything left, guys, just make sure to like, share, subscribe, retweet, do your thing, spread the word of Toward Crypto. And like I said, if your favorite cryptocurrency or you're a developer, get involved. See how you can help not only this charitable event, but really spread the word and utilization of cryptocurrencies as a whole. I know everybody, like we said, is worrying about the market, and the market's been down. But guys, utilization drives network appreciation. Once people start using cryptocurrencies, the appreciation will come down the road. So we don't need to worry about that. We are so early in this space. We really need to go back to focusing on the tech, how this can be used in everyday life, and how we can help people with this technology. So until next time, guys, stay tuned for your daily updates on cryptocurrencies right here at Learn Crypto.